Folks, welcome back. We are live. It is yet another Monday afternoon. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I know I did. Went golfing yesterday, had a great round. It's nice to have a normal golf schedule again. Things are kind of leveling out, more normalized, able to get outside and do some other things other than work and be involved in this hobby, because this hobby lately, man, geez, it gets more wild by the day. And so I went back and forth on how to handle this video, because I want to make sure that I don't think there's any way not to create drama at this point. But I wanted to make sure to, not use anyone in the thumbnail. You see, I used my own YouTube, my own videos. I didn't use anyone's name or face in the thumbnail. And I am going to, show some stuff, and people are going to be named, but that's just the way it's going to go. And I'm sure this is going to create some type of drama. I already talked about it with some people. I'm kind of ready for it. I'm sure it'll get used all across, other YouTube channels, and they'll pick it up and they'll talk their trash or whatever. But I don't care at this point, because some of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in this community, like the guys that will, never say a bad word about people, or just super, like, they're just like, just nice people, right? They're like getting attacked these days. It's not even me anymore. It's like these other investment channels are getting attacked for, these like coined terms, misleading the community or misleading their viewers, right? Or, putting out faulty information, trying to manipulate the markets, all this real, like, these hardcore terms that make people get all fearful. And, obviously everyone knows I'm no stranger to, confrontation. I'll say it, and here's the thing. Anyone that's met me in person, you meet me in person. I'll be at Chicago CollectCon. You can meet me there. I'll be vending. Nice. I'm super nice to everyone in person, right? Really easy to get along with. I'll be anyone's friend. But at the same time, I'm also going to stand up for myself. I'm going to stand up for others. I'm going to punch back when others punch me. I'm not going to be the one starting the fights, but hey, if someone's going to come at people, I'll be right there to say, hey, hold on. Is that everything you're saying correct, right? You can't just come bash someone and expect everything to be okay, right? And I understand how YouTube is, right? Here's how it works is, if I or someone makes a video about data or refuting data, and then someone else comes out and bashes you for it, calls you names, slanders you, and then you come out and acknowledge it, well, now you're a victim. Now you're just trying to, play a pity party. It must have got under his skin because he's responding to me. And they immediately put you down and act like you're doing something wrong by responding, which you're not. No one's a victim. No one's playing any pity parties. But things can get responded to and everything's fine, right? And so I feel like that's where we're at, dude, guys, it has nothing to do with me right now. Although I'm sure after this video, it'll get used. But investor bros, right? This term has become sort of the negative context across the investing space. And investor bros are always trying to manipulate the market. They're only pumping up their items they have so they can have financial gain. They're only making things so their channels can get views. They are, don't have their viewers' best interests in mind. They don't know what they're talking about, right? Because none of us investor bros have any experience. Only the guys who, run a Pokemon business or something have experience, which I do. So I guess I can talk on that too. Now that I'm full-time in this hobby and I run a business and I do, tens of thousands of dollars in sales every month, I guess now I know something, but I didn't before. It's kind of weird. But everyone's got a reason why investor bros can't have takes, right? And so we're gonna dig into this whole investing thing, and we're really gonna chop it down and get to the nucleus of it, because there's just a lot of negativity coming out towards Pokemon investors and the content they make and the takes they have in their videos. And I don't mind calling it out. I don't mind my face being blasted across all the drama channels, and they can make the thumbnails. And hey, you know what? It's slow right now. Give everyone some content. I'm happy to be of help. But let's go ahead and talk about it. So everyone probably knows Pokey Office, right? Super nice guy. I don't think I've heard him say a bad word about anyone. Super respectful. I mean, he's a teacher, lives in Canada, just has a nice Pokemon investing channel, right? So he's been taking some major heat from this guy, Dama. Sure, people have probably heard of him. He's got a smaller channel, a little smaller than mine, but I mean, 6,500 subscribers, that's not a small amount, right? And this guy, he's been making some pretty like outrageous claims against content creators in the investing space. And I can see one of the reasons why, if you scroll down through his channel, he wasn't really getting any views, right? He didn't really have any interest. 300, 315, 179 views, 381. Then he made this video called Pokemon Investor Bros Are Delusional. Got 2.4K views. So I'm sure in his mind, he said, oh, great, now I'm getting views. Let's do it again. Pokemon Investor Bros won't tell you this. Pokemon Investor Bros love this new set. But then the views started going down. So he went back to other type of stuff, blah, blah, blah. But then he wanted to come out and make another Investor Bro video calling out Poke Office for takes he made in a video about August investing. You can go watch the things for yourself. To give you an idea of his content, I'll go ahead and like play the start of one of his videos. Like, he's brash. He'll come right at you. Ready?
Pokemon Investor Bros are completely delusional, and I'm here to tell you firsthand, I've seen it for a while now, where they're just spewing nonsense.
So we all just spew nonsense, whatever it may be. Hey, Dama, dude, come on my channel, right? You reach out to me, nostalgianomics@gmail.com, nostalgianomics on Instagram, Discord. You can come on my channel whenever you want. Reach out. We'll set up a time. You come on and debate. I'll debate you on any topic you want when it comes to investing, or you can talk about how, he talks about how great his business is, how he's sold 7 figures in Pokemon since he's been in the hobby or whatever. Dude, a lot of people do that. There's such thing as sales and profits, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, so he's right in your face, really come at you. But he came at Poke Office recently for literally just a video he made about August Pokemon investments. And he just showed some, investments that he thought were good times to buy in August. And the dude just like belittled him and berated him about how stupid all the takes were and how it's misleading and all this nonsense, right? Here's the funny part about this video. You guys ready for this one? Here's where I'm going to get in trouble, right? Calling out Opossum Bud himself. And dude, Opossum, man, look, I got nothing against you. I know, you make the content you make. That's what you like to be. That's a space you like to be in. Some of it's hilarious. Some of it I think is going too far. But I got to at least scroll down to this one. So on this Pokemon Investor Bro calls me out, a negative video on Investor Bros, right? Look at one of the first comments. Opossum Bud. Now, back on OKJ Love stream where, Cool Trainer Ryan, we had some other people, but me, Poke Office, Opossum Bud were on there. And Opossum Bud and OKJ Love, they repeated time and time again that no one out here hates investing bros. You guys are taking it out. You guys are crazy. Everyone, no one dislikes you. Everyone likes Pokemon investors. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's got his head there in the sand. Maybe he just doesn't watch that kind of content, so he doesn't know. But then I see this video and I'm like, dude, you're literally in the comment section, right? Commenting on a Pokemon Investor Bro hate video. When over here, you're telling me, no, you don't hate on Investor Bros. No one out there does. Come on, dude, cut the bullshit at this point. You guys are all in the club, the Pokemon Investor Hating Club. Everyone's stupid who puts money in this stuff. It's all a kid's card game. Invest in something real like stocks. We get it, okay? Now, I want to talk about this whole Pokemon investing content creation to where, like, if you get something wrong, then it's nonsense. All right, so first and foremost, if you want to talk about real investors, right? Real investors, here it is. CNBC. You know what CNBC is? It's an entire channel devoted to, wait for it, having other investors, analysts, whatever you want to call them, come on and give their takes on the market. And guess what? A lot of the times their takes end up being wrong. Is anyone trying to cancel CNBC? Cancel anyone that comes on? Cancel Jim Cramer? No. People give their takes. They might be right. They might be wrong. As long as their takes are based on real research, real data, real technical or fundamental analysis, whatever it may be, it's a legitimate take. It doesn't mean it's nonsense, right? And in my opinion, if my channel, which since I've been on YouTube, I've for sure 100% gotten more than 60, 70, 80% things right that I've talked about. So in my mind, if I've gotten 60, 70, 80, 90% plus things right, and I've gotten 10, 20, 30, whatever percent things wrong, and you've taken my advice on everything I've said, guess what? Do the math. You're up. You are up on all the money you made. That's what investing is. You get them some things wrong. You get some things right. As long as you're getting more things right than you're getting wrong, you're going to consistently have gains in the future. And it doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if it's sealed products, singles, slabs, any other card game. I don't care if it's more speculative, more of a safer play. It doesn't matter. As long as you have legitimate reasons behind your takes and you're getting the majority of things right, it's a legitimate take. It's not nonsense. And so what it really comes down to, this is where people kind of get thrown for a loop. It's what kind of what are you looking for? Well, some people believe in fundamental analysis, where what that is, you can see right here. I got the exact definition. The method of determining a stock's value or a stock's intrinsic value. Fundamental analysis search for stocks trading at prices higher or lower than their retail value. If the fair market price value exceeds the market price, the stock is deemed undervalued and a buy. Okay, so what people do in Pokemon, right, is they try to figure out what the intrinsic value is. The problem is no one's got that answer. Anyone out there telling you first edition base set is undervalued or this card's undervalued because of the pop report and this, that's their take. That's not the truth. It doesn't make it right. And honestly, at some point, if it goes on 1, 5, 10 years and they're still wrong, you could still say maybe they can kick the can down the road a little farther. Maybe one day they'll be right. But in my mind, they've already been wrong long enough that they're wrong because you could have put that money elsewhere and done far better. But anyway, anyone trying to determine a stock's value, intrinsic value on value investing, right, or fundamental analysis, all they're doing is trying to predict the future value of something based on the fundamentals, that the way they see it in the hobby, which a lot of people in the hobby think fundamentals are things like, population report, overall scarcity, overall rarity, overall print runs, how many are believed to be left in existence, whatever it may be. And they determine that, right? But again, no one knows the answer to those questions, all what the market believes. Then there are technical analysis investors, traders, whatever you want to call them, who believe a form of security analysis that uses price data, volume, and typically displayed on graphically in charts. People who trade based on charts, which is what a lot of investing channels, including myself, show, is understanding the movement of the charts and understanding where things can be bought and when things should be sold. And a lot of people don't believe in this. The issue is the same reason that US dollars have value, fiat currency, the same reason gold has value. And I get it, gold can be used in certain electronics and things, but the overall value, why it has value, Bitcoin has value. The reason currencies have value and other things like that have value is trust and belief in them. The same thing goes for technical analysis. Why does technical analysis work, not just on Wall Street, but in Pokemon? Because enough people believe it. Enough people see when certain charts have certain patterns, they indicate buys and they indicate sells. And if you understand how this works, you can do very well investing in these markets and other markets. And so if you don't believe in technical analysis, that's fine, but it's not nonsense, right? It doesn't make it nonsense that I can show a chart and I see things hitting their 52-week lows and I see things down 30% and I know they're popular cards and I know they're just like out of the news cycle, whatever it may be, and I say, I think this is a buy. It doesn't mean I'm misleading an audience or trying to pump anything. It means I've seen this technical pattern many times before in Pokemon and other markets that it looks like a buy to me and I'm buying them. And I'm going to put this out to others because this is what I believe. I could be wrong, but it doesn't make it misleading. It doesn't make it like nonsense. It's investing. You're making bets based on future values of things. If people knew things for sure, they'd be billionaires, right? You're making bets, what all this is. So sure, there's a form of gambling. People want to talk about gambling. Any market's gambling. You're buying your house, you're gambling on the real estate market. You buy stocks, you're gambling on the stock market, right? You're always gambling. Gold, Bitcoin, it doesn't matter. You could say anything's a gamble. But when you're putting money to use, right, in terms of trying to make a profit, that is an investment, right? By the definition of investment. And so what's happening is, right, these, investing channels are getting put down because other creators out there are feeling holier than thou, trying to protect all the poor people out there who are watching these channels and they're getting taken advantage of. No, they're not. They're not getting taken advantage of. They're tuning into content. They're making a conscious effort to click on a thumbnail and watch the content and be told, hey, I think these items are buys because of XYZ. Now, you can disagree that those are not buys. You can disagree with the reasoning, but the last thing you do is call it nonsense or call it misleading, right? If I put out a video and I say, I think Pokemon alt arts are buys right now, and here are the reasons why. I think they're out of the news cycle. I think they've seen 20, 30% drops, but they're still super popular Pokemon, popular cards. I think the boxes have went stagnant. If the boxes trend up and as time ages, I believe the top cards in this era will age well based on past data in Sun and Moon and XY, how those sealed products and those top hits have done. And maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not misleading anyone. Right or wrong, I'm giving you a legitimate take on what I believe. And this has no relevance of how much that person does in business in the Pokemon hobby. Guys, this is one of the biggest lies that's perpetrated onto us is that you're like, what matters is how much you sell. All right, I'm gonna tell you a little story, okay? I came from sales, okay? So I understand sales, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what these content creators are selling to you, right? So I came from sales. I sold high-end home improvements, all right? So one of the best examples was when I worked for Anderson Windows, okay? And so what my job was, right, that they set leads for me, and I went out to people's houses, all different income levels, all different walks of life. And my job was to sell them a window for $2,500 to $3,500. And as you probably know, most houses have 8, 10, 12 windows. So basically, I'm going there to try to convince them to spend 25 to 35 grand on average for windows that day. Here's the kicker. Most other companies sell windows for $500 to $1,000. So their bill would be roughly like, $5, $6, $7, $8,000 for 10, 12 windows. Okay. So we were very overpriced. And so and everyone can read this on the internet. Everyone knows it. So my job was to go out, meet these people for the very first time, and within an hour to 2 hours, convince them our product was superior. They should sign on the dotted line and buy today. Because if I don't sell, I didn't get paid. It was 100% commission. Now, I was very good at that job. I was always within the top ranks, right? I had one of the highest closing percentages, meaning I sold some of the most jobs. Like if I got sent out to 4 out or 10 jobs, I would usually sell 4 out of 10 of them, which is 40%, which anyone in sales understands the high close percentage, especially in in-home sales. Now, did I make the most money in the company? No. You want to know the reason why? I didn't work that much. I worked 25 to 30 hours a week. The guys making the most money, guess what? They weren't better than me. They didn't have higher close percentages. They just wanted to work their lives away. They worked 7 days a week. They ran 50 to 60 appointments a week. Guess how many I ran? 25, 30. I worked half as much time as them and made close to what they made. I was always within the top. And so when it comes to this hobby, right, this hobby, people who do the most sales means zero at all. All that matters is how much profit you're making and how much you want to work. Dude, if I want to work, I got access to distribution. I can up the amount of cards I grade to hundreds of cards a month. I can easily push my numbers to 3, 4, 500 grand a year in sales, up to $1 million, $2 million a year if I wanted to. I got multiple people in the hobby I know that do. I know what it takes. I don't want to work that freaking hard. A lot of people don't. And the amount of sales you do does not determine how much you know, how good you are predicting the hobby. It just has to do with how much effort you want to put into running a business. Dama's in the chat. There he is. Dude, Dama, you want to come on the stream right now, bro? You're welcome. Dama, let me know right now, dude. You are 100% welcome to come on the stream right now. Defend yourself, whatever you want to do. I'll send you the link, man. I'll send you the link straight to your Instagram. He's down. All right. Let me go ahead and get I'll send it to your Instagram if that works, man. Let me go ahead and get this all down. Where StreamYard at? All right. Perfect. Right now, guys, we'll get straight from the horse's mouth. We'll get him to come on and discuss right now. Like I said, I'm not afraid to discuss with anyone. I know exactly what I'm doing. I stand by everything I said. All right. Let's see if I can find him on Instagram. All right. Dama collects cards. Perfect. All right, dude. It's coming over. Sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second. All right, dude. I sent you the link. Obviously, you have to accept the message. We're not like following each other. So yeah, man. If you want to come on, it's all you, dude. But yeah, so that's the whole thing here, guys. Is that doing the most sales, right, has nothing to do with being a better operator, knowing more about the hobby, having a better grasp on investing. It just means you want to work more. You want to work more. Dude, the guys who make the most in sales, even salespeople will tell you this. It's the guys who never want to stop, who will literally work from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. at night, and they'll cold call all day and send cold emails and text and work, 100 hours a week. They're going to make more money. Doesn't mean they're better. I would argue the person who has the highest close, the person who walks in the door and walks out with the most deals, that person's a better salesperson than someone who just takes twice the amount of appointments just so they can sell a few more and make a little more money. Right. And so I don't care. I'm not trying to compete to see who has the largest sales business. I don't want to sell that much stuff. I don't want to ship orders all day long, every day. I don't want to, constantly have to make listings and advertise and do all that. Sounds terrible to me. That sounds awful. And so That's the one thing I want to get through everyone's head. And so when it comes to like all this criticism of Pokemon investors, guys, we are literally, and I can't speak for everyone, but myself, I'm literally putting out, I've been in this hobby 9 years. So I don't know how you've been. I sent you the DM, dude. I don't know how long you've been in that hobby, Dama. You can tell me when you get on screen. I've been in it 9 years. So seen a lot of things come and go, right? Have a pretty good grasp on the market. And so when I put things out, it's based on my past experiences. It's based on other investing I've done in other markets. It's based on, again, technical and fundamental analysis. I do lean more towards technical analysis. I will agree there. Vintage investors are usually more value investors. Modern investors are usually more technical analysis driven. The reason for that, the reason I like technical analysis is because in this day and age, now the stock market, every market is more run by the news cycles, right? Because social media and all that things. And so I feel like you can do a lot better playing into that than you can trying to predict like this value investing of these, other things that could happen at some point in the future if you're right, but a lot of times they don't. And I think it's a lot more speculative than going with the momentum, but that's just my opinion. But that's where all this is coming from, dude. And so I don't know why investors are getting they get such a bad rap. And some of it's because of the clickbait titles and thumbnails. Yeah, dude, I shouted you on Instagram. Here. Shoot link. Yeah, dude. Dude, look. There it is. I sent it to you, man. I mean, I'll send it again. Here. There it is again. Should be there. I sent it again in case the other one didn't come through. Yeah, man, come on. We'll have honest discourse. I mean, I was just telling people the other day, like, there's not enough, like, honest debates and discourse left in this hobby anymore. We got to this point where everyone's just, like, jumping back and forth. Oh, by the way, another thing I wanted to throw out there before he gets on. Guys, everyone in this hobby is investors. Everyone.
All right, we good?
What's up, brother? Hey, hold on one second. I got one thing to say. Guys, every single person in this whole hobby, it's big at all, is an investor, no matter what they want to call it, right? Rev, Cool Trainer Ryan, they were investing. Rev said in interviews, 99% of his collection was always sealed. Pokeball, before he was always an investor, right? Rusty, TCA Gaming, he invests in this stuff. He has Mountains of Modern. Danny Phantom invests. Catch 'em all collectibles. Everyone invests in this stuff. They can call it inventory. They can call it collecting. They can call it whatever they want. Everyone invests in this stuff. And so if all the biggest guys do, you have to understand, like, obviously there's something here. Obviously I wouldn't be here after 9 years still doing it if it wasn't working. And so, all right, man, Dama is on the channel.
So what was even being spoken about? I caught the stream notification like way late in.
So, dude, so like obviously,
well, like based on the takes.
Obviously I took you. Here's the thing. Honest truth. When I made that video about showing the alt arts, I literally just typed in alt arts crashing and scrolled down the list. I didn't even look to see if yours was 8 months ago. So, and I apologize to you in the comments. If you saw it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think just because I guess the metric of the audience, the size of the audience, I think in any form of like mistake, it's always warranted just to like clarify in a video, just like, hey man, didn't mean it, blah, blah, blah. And then we move on from it. And I think,
so I made a mistake when his video, when he actually made the video, they were dropping a significant amount more than they are now. But that being said, so like, dude, just the Poke Office thing, like, dude.
Yeah. So what's, give me your take. Give me your take.
He's just like, dude, he's like, it's almost like a Twice Big Jake or Pokey Eyes. Like, these guys are just super like down to earth, nice, like not going to start shit. Like, they're just nice guys. I don't know why people are going after guys like that.
I mean, like, again, and
like coming after me makes sense. I get it. I deserve it.
You and me, we're fair game, like all game, right?
Yeah.
In the case with him, it's kind of like something was said, right? Just to kind of like pick fun at the whole take of like, oh, the month of August is what we're gonna do, what we're gonna grab, what we're gonna put all our money into, or XYZ, whatever, however people want to like paint their picture in their video. And I was just picking a little fun at like the idea of, hey, so for the month of August, we're just gonna, buy Evolving Skies every month because hey, maybe in this time in the next 6 months, it'll be worth, back to where it is, or it might be worth a little more. And it's just like for the month of August, even in that video where I critique stuff, I went to another channel, I think TCG, where he was like, oh, well, we are going to probably be getting into megas with the TCG soon. So that might be a good idea to look at the, previous X and Y sets like Primal Clash. And I was like, Sounds great, man. You know what I mean? Like giving an idea of something to go after in a specific month for a title of your video and kind of push people to grab something is like you should be kind of pertaining to what is going to move relatively soon. I could say Evolving Skies every single month. I could say Lost Origin every single month. And I could do that for the next year or 2 years or 3 years because if you've been in the hobby long enough, like you said, 9+ years, stuff takes a while to move. It doesn't just up and go. And I feel like there's a few anomalies and people are using those constantly as reference lately, which is like, it's not realistic. It's like, it's
True.
giving off a false sense of security to a lot of these newer, whether they're investors, whether they're people just getting into the hobby. It just gives a false sense of security that everything's going to magically just take off or move. And then constantly
What's like the catalyst? Like, why all of a sudden are you like really coming at investor
like
growth
out
so
of
hard?
nowhere. I mean, it's not really the thing is like the investing content. It has its space. It has its place, and like I love the market. I absolutely love the numbers. I love watching the stuff. Like I always joke about it all the time on my stream that, ironically enough, everybody I've never seen once in my stream has an opinion on it now. And you probably know that too. There's probably a lot of people that have opinions on your videos but have never watched one. So it's like as creators, we get that. But as of lately, it's just been like I thought I would make more of the content oriented stuff of what I'm thinking. And the investing space, there's a place for it when it's done like correctly and right.
So
There's a good place
what
for
is
it.
your space? Like, what do you do mostly? Do you run a business? Like, what do you? I don't know much about you, man. It's like,
Yeah,
what do you
so
do?
I've been running a stream where we do sales for like the past 4 years across my old channel and now this channel. And it's like that's pretty much what I do. I haven't had to make content for it because if you're doing sales, like sure you can grow it, but like I have my other work I do, I have my other businesses, like there's other stuff I have to attend
So
to. So
you
it's
just
just
live stream sell.
yeah, strictly just like live stream based sales. But with the idea of my sales is we're constantly doing like, and again, this is not this is not like a pushing it thing. It's just how we do it. I do it in a way where I feel it gives the buyer, the person purchasing on the stream, the best opportunity to make their full amount back or profit. And that takes me having to do a lot of research into things, find out if you're buying this, is this raw card graded going to be worth more than what you purchased? We'll grade it for free for you. Or if you're taking an opportunity, to give you an example, just to break down, going into next week, we have these things called lucky bags, which they're not mystery bags like the traditional YouTuber does with all the packs and stuff. That's an immediate loss. Like I'm sure you and I both know, like
Yeah.
90% of the time, it's an immediate loss. You're not getting shit out of that.
Yeah.
However, with mine, it's like, hey, there's 50 bags for this upcoming round, and there's a BGS 10 Poncho Pikachu Gyarados as your chase bag. Everything around it is a card that typically in a PSA 10 is over $100, and that's surrounding that. We'll grade it for free for you if you're doing over 2 bags. So it's like, I lose money. Like it's no secret if I'm not doing this properly, it's just a straight loss because the BGS 10 Poncho Pikachu, you could argue it's anywhere from 3.5 to 4K. You could argue at low end sales, maybe 3.2, 3.3, but average around 3.5 to 4. So it's like, if you're taking the percentages of PayPal fees, you're taking the time investment, you're taking all the grading fees, which for 50 plus bags, which are typically going to get grading on all those for people buying out the round, etc. That's a lot of money. Like that's a lot of money out of my pocket.
So
So
everything you're doing is based on flipping.
if
Just
I
buying.
didn't know what I was doing, I couldn't do it. Right.
What I'm saying is you basically are the spot where you don't hold anything. Everything is just buy and sell.
I mean, I do hold some stuff, but it's like I'm in and out. It's very long-term investment for the hobby. I can make more in a short period versus a long period. So if you're holding stuff for this hobby and everybody knows it, if you are holding things long term, it will go up. There's very few things that historically do not go up long term. The problem, and back to I guess the initial issue that I have with like it's not even an issue I have really. It's just a critique. That's all it was just saying if we're talking about a specific month, why are we talking about 6 months to a year plus in the future? Why are we talking about half a decade in the future for the month of August? It's not like Evolving Skies is at a low. It's not like the other sets mentioned by these creators are at like a low. It's like I could throw anything in that category, quite literally anything. I could say, oh, Hidden Fates ETB, that thing's going to be 3K in 5 years. Let's grab them all now, guys. Like it's just very misleading, and especially again the title thumbnail aspect. people can put buy it now or sell now in their title. Again, I never had an issue with that. If you genuinely are actively participating in it, or if that's what you believe 100%. And why I critiqued the Pokey office was because he backtracked and was basically saying, like, I'm not telling anyone to do this, but then he directly told people to do it. And then he was also saying, just because I say buy it now, sell it now, all this stuff, that doesn't mean I actually believe it. So then you're pushing, right, a false narrative on an audience. And these people are impressionable. It's not like everybody is you and me who has been through this hobby for how long now. We've seen how many ways things can end up. We've seen bubbles, we've seen crashes, we can predict them. Like the Altart situation, I feel like everybody knew that wasn't going to last. I feel like with the situation with the Japanese market, we all get it. Like it's nothing new. But for impressionable people getting into the hobby, not having much knowledge and just like taking this in, it's just, that's my issue. It's like you're messing at that point, you're messing with people financially to an aspect and giving them false sense of hope. And I feel like if you're going to do it the right way, but be honest or just be straightforward. Don't beat around the bush and say this and this and this because I need views and blah, blah, blah. It's just be honest.
Why do you think it's more like it's like the Pokemon investing space always taking like the brunt of the heat though? Like, why isn't it, like these business?
It's an easy target for views. Like the market itself is anybody, when it comes to money, people are interested. So when you have an area and a sector of the hobby that is pertaining to money, people want to listen. It's no joke. It's no surprise to anybody. I mean, like go back to the COVID situation with the stock market, how everybody overnight became a stock guru. Everyone was like, oh, I'm going to buy GameStop and I'm going to make tons of money. And then they got burned and they were like, I'm never going back to the stock market. So the correlation is if people are getting into the hobby and they want to make money off of something that is like nostalgic to them, right? They get into this and they listen to a lot of these people. I'd say a good percentage of them are just kind of spewing the same thing over and over and over and over, but they're not really definitively sure that that is going to happen. People can get burned and then they have a distaste for the hobby. And over time, that is negative for the hobby because people will just lose money, exit, and then just never want to come back.
I mean, okay, but it's kind of a bad example because that happened back during COVID time. So you could say that's when like a lot of the investing people came in and started. It's been like 3 years now, almost going on 4 years. And if it's still continue to grow and the content's doing well, wouldn't that mean that everyone's doing well with their investments? So if everyone's doing well, I mean, it's kind of like why wouldn't everyone be leaving if they weren't doing well? You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So like again, that's back during COVID. That's post.
No, but it's been. I mean, dude, we're so far past COVID at this point.
Like, yeah. So if you made investments back then, of course you're going to make money. You're just without even a boom, your boxes.
Well, even last year, like we were told how awful Scarlet Violet was, or Sword and Shield's done. It's too overprinted. Like there's always going to be another reason for something every year. But it's like,
I mean, Scarlet Violet was never really awful though. Like,
I mean, it was a pretty big. I mean, I could just like type it in, and there's millions of videos people saying how bad it was.
Yeah, sure, that's Sword and Shield. But like when you look at it, look at Sword and Shield base. Look at early Sword and Shield. The almost entirety of Sun and Moon in comparison. It's I
agree. Scarlet Violet's the best era so far.
It's the best start to an era objectively in terms of arts and the amount of hits and cards. It's like just because the value is not there, or it's and I was a big push, like not a big pusher, but I agreed with the sentiment that it was not worth buying a box just because the value was not there. You really couldn't justify it. It just didn't make sense to buy like Scarlet and Violet base when it first came out. Like, what are you chasing? A $50 Chase SIR with some $10 IRs and you're paying $100+ to do it? It just didn't make sense to grab it at lows. Sure, you could have done that, but it's like, it's not objectively bad. It's just at the time it was not worth buying and opening. That's so like back to what you were saying though, with buying during like 3-4 years ago and how like, oh, people must be doing well. Well, yeah, 3-4 years time, you're going to do well. But right now, spewing the same exact sets, spewing sets that have already like taken off. It'd be like, and again, you say you were in sales in the stock market, you know about that. It'd be like if we just got word of mouth yesterday that this stock is going to take off, and in pre-market, it goes up 90%. And I make a video today saying this stock, let's get on it. It's going to do great. I know it will. And then market open, it tanks 30%. And then I'm like, well, maybe for the next 2 weeks, there's, this could happen or this could happen, or, historically sales happen and it could go back. And it's just like, it's a bunch of, there's no confirmation. There's no definitive yes or no. It's just playing around to get views and clicks. And with some people, I get it. You're making your content, you're going to do what you do, but at least be honest and open. Just say like, hey, I'm not for certain. You should make your own fucking decisions. I'm just showing you a graph. For some people, they're like actively telling people, nah, hold it, man. Don't get rid of it. Like if you're FOMO, if you're getting out of it, man, you're going to miss out on it. This is going to keep going up when there's no definitive proof.
All right. So let me give you the other side of this and you tell me what you think. So like, and not just your channel or any videos you made, but like, a lot of these channels that are guest investing or the drama channels, or, going back into sales, if investing channels are selling hope or, profits, whatever people think.
Yeah.
I feel like all these other channels they're not selling things. They're selling fear itself. Like they're literally selling fear. They're trying to instill fear with, there's all these scams. There's all these thefts. This scanning thing now. There's possibilities of this and that. And it's like, they're just pushing more and more reasons on why not to do it, but they're not showing that all that stuff combined isn't affecting the market. They're not talking about how there's millions of transactions across all these sites every single day, and they're picking out like one small thing that happened and making it seem like scams are a huge part of this hobby, when it's like, dude, the odds are you'll probably never get scammed if you're not even selling that big of a volume of stuff. I mean, I've never had any major scams.
I agree with you. I don't think. I mean, my biggest thing in the big, like I've never. And I think a lot of people.
Hold on, one more thing. The other thing is trying to sell. Everyone's worried about trying to sell products. It's like, I see Catch 'em All Collectibles in the chat. Like I shouted out his consignment service. Literally, you can send him. He'll sell it. He'll run it through Fanatics. He knows what he's doing. He's a professional seller. He'll get you top dollar. If your case is over $500, you're getting 93% of the money back. So you don't even have to know how to sell anymore. You just send it to these consignment services. They'll sell it for you. You get more money than you would selling it yourself. And so it's another way out for investors. You don't have to know how to sell. So it's like another benefit of being able to invest in this stuff.
Yeah, personally, I never made an argument regarding that. I'm all for it. Like I wouldn't have the business I have in this and do the sales I've done if I didn't believe in half the shit like a lot of people are saying. It's just, I do think there's a way of going about it where people are spreading false information or pushing a false agenda versus actually giving their opinion and reasons as to why they believe that. Like you stated before, with analytical data on things, looking at movement of shit. Like when you're doing that and you're just telling people this looks good, it could happen, but then there's people that are actively just telling people just buy. That's the problem I have. In regards to like your consignment services or other people who have not scammed individuals, again, I don't think a lot of people scam. Like I would, if I'm preaching about scammers and scamming and then I'm running my own business, that's kind of, that's not that great, because it just shows like I kind of have a narrative of my own.
By the way, why'd you put scammer in your title? People think I did it.
No, I did. That was me. I'm just fucking around. I like to fuck around a lot. I hope I can say that here, but I like to mess around a lot. I have fun. I meme a bit, but when I get serious, I get serious. But like again, like the video, and getting back to the topic, the video with Pokey Office was kind of just like to pick fun. And when I saw a response, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to address it, because if it's just picking fun, you can always acknowledge someone picking fun at you in one of two ways. And again, other people reference this saying like I'm a hypocrite because they went back 11 months on a video of mine and said I was calling the community toxic, which is super funny, because in that video, I mentioned the same thing I'm about to tell you, which is there's two ways to handle criticism in this community. You can acknowledge it and learn from it, or you can completely ignore it. And in the Pokey Office's case, he acknowledged it, but he didn't want to acknowledge me, the individual who criticized him. So that's when I felt, all right, well, I'll make a response and say, I'm the one who did it. Let's see how you responded. And there we go. And that's kind of where it went. Yeah. And if people agree or disagree, that's up to them. That's up to the community. I'm not going to tell people what to do. If people want to get personal with shit, I'm not feeding into that. I'm not going to comment on that shit. There's even a comment someone made about him. They were like, oh, it's because of his hair. And I pointed the comment back at me and said, no, I did that. I did that too. And he actually looks better than me. Like, I'm not trying to attack the guy personally. That's not my objective. That's not good for the community. However, right, criticism is warranted, and taking criticism however you want is up to you as a creator. It's just the community is going to decide how they feel about that.
Yeah, I think we need to get back to like more of that. I mean, there used to be a lot more like live debates a couple years ago. Like I was a part of a lot of them. And I think it really went away, and it's become more of this, like, someone makes a video, like, and says something off, and then someone will pick it up, and then it goes back and forth. And there becomes like this drama and this hatred. And it's like, dude, if we could all just like get on screen and talk this out, I'm sure we could just like get to the bottom of it. It's not that big of a deal. And so like, I fortunately, it wasn't a live video. It was one of my Patreon videos, but I was basically saying that. I said, we need to try and promote more of that and just like get on screen together and just talk this out. So I'm happy you came on today, because like, that's what I wanted to just kind of get out.
Like at the end of the day, like we all are going to have our opinions with the hobby in any sense of it. We're all going to have our own ways to move stuff in the hobby or make money in the hobby or whatever we do. Right. And everybody's always going to have an opinion of that. Like, for a good example, because it really trickles down into everyone, is like people can absolutely love the biggest creators in the hobby, like Rev, Vault, etc. But everybody's going to question their mystery bags and either love them or hate them. And whether you get down to the analytical data, whether you do this, whether you do that, there's always going to be an opinion no matter what kind of data you present to people. And that goes into everything under it, whether you have a consignment service, whether you have a business, whether you had one instance where someone had a bad time with what you do as a business, people are going to form an opinion. And as long as you can kind of keep your shit together, cover your tracks, and make sure that if people are talking shit, you can prove they're talking shit, you're fine. Like nobody's like, I've rarely ever heard of somebody scamming and still continuing this like actively. It just doesn't happen because people catch on quick. And if people are talking shit, people catch on quick. There is delusion in both sectors of the hobby, both where it's warranted and not warranted. But again, that's getting into a whole other, we could go on for hours about people just being gullible or following things, or people just being like what we would call in like the stock market back when the boom happened, diamond hands. They will never get rid of everything. They'll just believe it till the end, even when they're down how much. It's like, like I said, we could go on for hours about that shit.
Yeah, and it's impossible to know everyone's motives. I mean, I personally feel though, like myself, why I feel okay with the content I make is like, if I'm putting out things I actively believe, and I'm making takes that of the way I read the market, the charts, the fundamental, whatever I think it is, I could be right or wrong, but I'm putting out things I actually believe. Like, yeah, if you like are putting out things actively to be wrong, like if I got word there was an Evolving Skies reprint coming, and
then you say there's no reprint,
or you need to buy this now, like it's not going to be at this price for much longer, and I dump my stuff. That's obviously going to be wrong. But it's like, man, no one's going to get all the plays right. Like if you're getting 60, 70, 80% right, I mean, that's a win, right? You're getting more than you got wrong. You're making gains on investing. Like that's a win. But it's like, to say it's like nonsense or people's takes like are for some reason, like, there's an issue with them. It's just like, I mean, just because they got it wrong doesn't mean they're doing anything wrong type thing.
No, yeah, people get takes wrong all the time. And again, it comes back to the fundamentals of, do you genuinely believe what you're saying? Or do you understand the impact that what you're saying or how you're presenting it has on an impressionable audience? And it's not always the creator's fault, but when they're actively doing it and they understand what it's doing, like saying, oh, views, metrics, this and that, then you kind of understand, you're feeding into it at that point. And if you're not 100% sure, that's where the problem lies, because then you're just spewing nonsense to people that you're not even sure of. And it's like, if you're like, again, if you've done the fundamentals, if you've looked at the card, if you looked at the data, you've looked at the history of it, you know what causes, like if you're doing grading, if you know what causes this card to be a 9 or a 10 typically, and you're like telling people like, hey, you're taking this risk on this risk on this risk if you're doing grading or singles or whatever, or if you're doing sealed product, like, hey, this has had, historical data to do this, and this, and you're presenting that rather than just saying, well, Evolving Skies last month was $700 and now it's $720. It might be $750 next month. Maybe you guys should buy it now. Like, there's very different ways to present it where it's like totally fucking cool and I'm all for it, versus like where I watched, I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? It's just like, and you can pick it up very quickly. And it's not that there's a problem. I have a problem with any of these people directly. It's just like how some present it. It's like, what am I watching? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, it's just questionable. That's how I try to.
I got you. That makes sense. I mean, all honesty, man, like I don't really know much about your channel. Like obviously I made that video where I got it wrong. Everyone, I got it wrong. His video was 8 months ago when I showed it. I thought it was a recent one, so he wasn't saying all sorts of crashing recently. But
like I said, at
but
this
anyway,
point,
that's where I found your channel. And so I watched a few of your videos since then. But like, so I mean, tell her like, what are you doing with the channel, or what are you doing in your business? Is it, I mean, do you sell like online? Is it literally all just through YouTube streams? Like,
it's just YouTube streams. I mean, Whatnot has their own, fees and all that. PayPal fees on top of sales is nice. It's just like a base 3%, so it's you can work with that. And when you have that low fee rate, you can give a lot away, which pushes incentive to drive sales. It's simple business. It's like if you're like bartering with people, trying to meet them in the middle, if you're offering things to present opportunity for more sales, it keeps the cogs going in the overall wheel. It keeps things moving. And if you can understand your percentages, then you're fine, right? There's instances where you can make bigger percentages or lesser percentages, but that's at the cost of, are you pleasing the community correctly? Are you keeping things, grounded as a business? Like what area are you going this week or this month? Like, could I take a BGS 10 Gyarados that we literally just express graded or whatever grade, the second highest grading for BGS, I always forget, get it back in a week, and if it got a 9.5 like the Magikarp and the Gyarados, I would have put it in the same amount of bags, which equals the same amount money back. If it got a 10, same amount of bags. Could I make more money on that? Of course, and nobody would question it, because it's like, yeah, it's worth considerably more. However, again, it's like, I'm not trying to do that. I could, I'm not trying to. And I feel like there's instances with other businesses that they either do it or don't. Everybody runs their business differently. Everybody has a different model, and I'm not going to question how people do theirs, as long as they're treating their customers right. They're not scamming people, not screwing people over. Like it's none of my business.
Yeah, and the reason I wanted to like really mention you, because I knew you wouldn't mind it. I could already tell you would have made a video right back at me, so I wouldn't care. I didn't want to like name out any other like smaller creators, but like because there are other smaller creators now, like one.
I've seen that. Yeah, there's a few that have made a video since, and it's like I want to give a minute to any of them who are flirting with that idea. Please don't attack people just to attack people. Like, if you're going to question or criticize somebody, make sure it's warranted. Make sure there's like, you have reason to, or at the very least, if you're picking fun, do it in a way where it's like, clarify with your audience. It's picking fun. It's nothing against the person, and leave it at that. Like, don't, like I said, we just mentioned it before, but like, hate in this space is very different from criticism. And you can criticize, right? That leads us all to be better, but hate, there's just no point. There's no real reason. It's like,
and that's why I want to make this live too, is like to like talk through why us like creators make the videos, because it's like I have started to see more of that like negativity again start to swell up around like the investing space, and like the whole like manipulation and pump and dumps and buyouts and things. So I just wanted to put something out to like give people an idea of like why we make the videos we do, the things we see, what kind of analysis we're doing, why we're putting the content out that we do, because it's literally not just like pulling something out of the hat just to throw content and get views and try to like manipulate anything. I don't have large positions in everything I talk about. It's literally just like what I'm seeing that week. I do research. I'm like, well, I've seen this happen before. It looks like things are kind of getting to the point where they're starting to move again. I think now might be the time to buy, or these might have dropped to a level where they look like they're a buy again. They're not as risky. So like, that's why I put out the content I do. I can't speak for everyone, but just like for investors as a whole, like, guys, we're not the bad guys.
Yeah, it's like with the investing side of the hobby. I mean, to have any real foot in the hobby, you have to call yourself an investor to a degree, because if you're buying something with the intention of making money on it, that in itself is a form of investing. It maybe not directly to the exact definition, but that's what you're doing. You're making money on a product, and especially most of the time it takes time before it gets to the expected value before you want to get rid of it. So that's investing, right? Even if it's just grading and flipping, like that's time. You know what I mean? That time is money. So everyone, to a degree, if they're in the hobby, you have to be able to understand what you're doing, or at least again, here's my general consensus. If you want to make money in this hobby, if you want to do something as far as a business in this hobby, you got to fucking know how to do it. You got to teach yourself. You got to do the groundwork. To sit and watch like your videos or my videos or anyone else's videos and just listen and just replicate, it's never going to happen. You have to actually go out and look at stuff, understand why this occurred, why this happened. Go look into the in-depths of actual, get cards in your hands and see why this grades this, why this does this. Find out why sealed product is so expensive for certain sets. I mean, like, just a stupid example, but like, why is Team Rocket Return so expensive? Well, because it wasn't printed as much. Like something dumb like that. It's just some people don't know that. They'll just be like, "Oh, it's so expensive," but not have a clue why. So it's like understanding why these things work how they do will help you a lot more into making decisions. And then when you hear people say things in a video, you'll know right off the bat, does it make sense or not? Are they coming from a place where it totally checks out or it doesn't? And I think a lot of people are very impressionable right now in the community, where they just take and run with it rather than, doing the groundwork.
Cool. No, man. I mean, hey, I appreciate you jumping on.
Conversation, man.
Anything else you wanted to say?
Nah, I gotta get going. I gotta go on a trip. But
you're good. You're good
talking, brother, man.
No, I appreciate you jumping on and setting the record straight. And
for sure.
Nothing more. We'll go for there. Yeah, we'll keep it at that. Maybe we'll do something again in the future together, dude. How's that sound?
Works for me, man.
All right, man. All right, I'll see you soon.
Have a good one.
You too. All right, guys. Guys, as far as the comments go, no, we're not going to talk trash on the dude after he leaves or nothing like that. So I'm not going to take any comments or things that are saying anything like that. No, that was a good combo. I mean, I obviously had made some claims and showed his channel. He got on. He was in the chat. He actually had the balls to come on and defend himself or clarify what he was doing, and it was perfect. This is how this space needs to be. This is how we need to handle ourselves. Not this stupid back and forth talking trash in Discords and Instagrams and YouTube videos. We need to really get to be more like this. Like not just me, but like anyone out there who's has beef going on or have disagreements or doesn't like what one person said or the other person said, just come on and hash it out. Just talk it out. This is honestly what happens more times than not. It's not that big of a deal. Everything's good. Like small disagreements, move on. And so, yeah, I thought that was good. Dama, appreciate you coming on, dude. It's a good chat. Hey, how about this? Let's just open it up. Anyone else out there, content creator wise, that I've had beef with, or you've had beef with me, dude? If you're in the chat, just throw it out there. I could send you a link. You can come on. We can hash out our differences. Try to get to some middle ground. I think it's really good. I think this is really good for everyone. So yeah, it was a good time. All right, let's see. I'm not even going to go back and scroll up and look at the comments. I know people were like going crazy. Does anyone want to talk about any specific topics you want me to touch on? Any questions you guys want answered, not related to the convo that just went down, or related to it if you want, but not no BS, right? We're not talking bad about people here. What do we got? Yeah, exactly. Pokefang. This is how social interactions need to be. More diverse perspectives lead to more insight and make informed decisions. 100%, right? And that's the thing. I don't give a crap if people have different views than me, as long as we both understand where each other's coming from, our perspectives, the things we're doing in the hobby, what kind of businesses we have going, our financial situations, experiences we've had in the past. As long as I know why you think the way you do and why you feel, there's no hate to be had, right? We just have differencing opinions, which honestly, it sounds like me and him don't even have that much different opinions. It's just, and I get it. I get where he's coming from. Like, I 100% understand him. Like, there are some wild takes out there. Like, there's people that make content for the sake of making content and just throw things up, and you'll be listening to it, saying to yourself, huh, what's going on? So I get it. I understand. I just wanted to kind of talk on it because I've seen even like other smaller creators right now, 1, 2, 3,000 subs, that are starting to make a lot of like videos, like, Pokemon investing content's misleading. These people are scamming you. They're manipulating the market. And I just think a lot of that's noise. Look, we can go back and forth on if I have the power or other people have the power to truly manipulate a market. Sure, I'm some of these like lower available cards, you might be able to manipulate a little bit with a few $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 maybe. no one's manipulating the sealed market, guys. No one is manipulating how many boxes there are of these sets, right? The reason that Twilight Masquerade is as much as it is because people love the freaking set. I am a small streamer, right? You guys can say, Alex, you have whatever subs. I'm a smaller streamer. I have 11,000 subscribers. I get maybe 30 to up to 100 on a great night in my live stream pack breaks, right? Even we're opening like anywhere from 6 to up to 15 cases one night of Twilight Masquerade every single week. I'm a smaller guy. So go ahead and multiply that by every streamer out there on every platform. There are so many of these Twilight Masquerade boxes getting opened every week. That's the reason the price is rising. The supply is falling. Everyone wants to open it. Everyone wants to Trace Greninja. That's why it's going higher. It's not because I'm talking about it saying, I think he's moving to Twilight. No, it's legitimate market demand. Now, if I'm talking about some card that's got a real low pop, it's really low availability, I pump it maybe you could say it has a short-term effect. But other than that, guys, there's not as much BS going on as some of you might think. So try not to buy into a lot of the market manipulation buyout talk. Sure, there are buyouts sometimes on single cards. Sure, you can manipulate the market here and there. But most of the time, it's not happening and you can't really do it. The synopsis of the convo. Basically, I guess Dama had some issues with some of the, items or some of the ways Poke Office was promoting the items or at the time period, the time frames of which you need to buy. It didn't have to be in August. There wasn't like a time constraint type thing. It's not a big deal though. It's not a big deal, right? We hashed it out. We'll end it there, right? I mean, it's just not a big deal. I think everyone's going to handle it like adults. I'm glad he came on. Like, I'm glad we didn't go any further with it. It was good. It was good. Thoughts on Sword and Shield over the next 4 to 6 months? I'm kind of bullish on anything going into the holiday season. So if we're talking in the next 6 months, I wouldn't be surprised if everything was kind of rising. Like, I don't think shooting up, but if every Sword and Shield box, like maybe not every, but most of them were 10%, 15% higher, January of next year, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, it makes sense. A lot of things run up during the holiday season. And so I think we've kind of reached the point where Sword and Shield is going to become a lot more steady. We had a major pump after a lot of them went out of stock at Pokemon Center. A lot of them went out of print. We had the falling off. Everyone kind of, came back down to earth. The wind got let out of the sails. They're out of the news cycle. Now we're kind of seeing a price regularizing, or regularization, whatever. What kind of word am I looking for? Anyway, now we're seeing, Lost Origin starting to come back. Evolving Skies, it had some sales in the mid 600s. Now it's kind of popping back up to near 7. I think they're going to kind of normalize and we will start to see regular growth again. You'll be looking for that, 5, 10, 15, 20% growth in a year on a lot of the boxes. Maybe we come into a crazy news cycle again where the alt arts pump and the boxes pump with them. But I think they're just going to be regular sealed product now. They'll the better stuff will rise more over time. The worse stuff will kind of go more stagnant, see some steady rises. I don't think there's much to talk about with Sword and Shield for the time being. What's replacing pack battles? That's a great question. I'm still working on it. Do you think there will always, I love the always capitalized, positive buys, or is it better to save your money and wait for the truly busted deals and opportunities? Yeah, I mean, it depends on what your financial situation is, what your goals are in the hobby. Like me, myself, I buy every set. If you can't do that, then, if you're talking about the busted deals, like what we see at Sam's Club, or when Pokemon Center will release a promo, or, just obvious stuff like that, or when, deals come along where stores are blowing stuff out. Yeah. Taking the guaranteed money, 100%. But when people talk about guaranteed sets, I'm not as sold on that. Even the Team Rocket set getting announced, or the gym leader, the new gym trainer sets, here's what you have to understand. There's a lot of factors that go into that. Are those going to be way more printed? Are those going to get more reprints? So even though something's more popular, doesn't always mean it's going to be the best investment out there, right? Because Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign were not popular sets, but they're performing better than, Lost Origin, or they're performing better than Brilliant Stars, which were more popular when they were released, right? Same thing can be said for any era. So it's what if Paldea Evolved gets reprinted into the ground, and then, Obsidian Flames never gets a reprint? Maybe Obsidian Flames outperforms Paldea Evolved because it never got a reprint at short supply. So it's really hard to be a set picker. So I don't know about the 100% guaranteed returns. Kamalanomics, definitely not that, bro. No, I am. Look, we don't talk politics much on this channel, but I will strongly come out against Kamala's economic ideas. To put an end to price gouging, it's impossible. You can't put an end to price gouging. It's the dumbest thing I ever heard. That is, you're literally talking about like communism at that point, where the government sets fixed prices for goods and services. It never ends well. So no, I will definitely not be supporting Kamala Harris's policies. Jeez. Glad you enjoyed the conversations. Hopefully we'll have more like that. I definitely plan on having more people on the channel. Not like, and I know like a lot of the times I have people on there for interview type style stuff. I plan to have more people on, like maybe like 3 or 4 people at a time, and just talk and have differentiating opinions and different takes and disagreements. That's what this hobby needs right now more than anything. It's less of like the nicey nice, like, oh yeah, we're all friends, let's all collect Pokemon and have a good time. We need more of the back and forth. We need different perspectives. And because not everyone thinks the same way, not everyone has the same goals, and everyone's wrong from time to time. So like it could help everyone out, in every community. Shrouded Fable for investing set looks scary for parking money. Yeah, Shrouded Fable is kind of a wild card. Look, all specialty sets are kind of not looking the greatest right now. Even celebrations now starting to take some falls. The UPCs are way down. Like specialty sets, Hidden Fates hasn't moved in years. Crown Zenith with a new product. Now the ETBs are back down. It just seems like booster boxes outperform specialty set ETBs. It seems, as much as, you guys know me, I'm not a Japanese investor, but as much as it pains me to say this, Japanese boxes of specialty sets might be the way to go if you want to invest in specialty sets. It's just starting to look more and more like that. It's kind of always been that way. But now like 100%, like it's just 151, Crown Zenith is basically at retail. $50 is retail. It's still there. Right. Celebrations is doing pretty well. Like overall, like, it's been out a few years. It might be up, 15, 20% a year, which isn't bad, guys. That's good. So I get it's not doing a lot lately. It had all its run up in like the first year and a half. I get that, but it's still doing well overall. Other than that, though, I mean, Pokemon Go, trash. Shining Fates doing terrible. Champion's Path doing well, but Champion's Path had the pandemic to help it, right? Hidden Fates had the pandemic to help those prices. So it's really hard to get good data right now on specialty sets. It's going to take another 1, 2, 3 years for us to really tell how these things are going to perform. No, man, I don't know. I did see videos about that. I don't really understand all the rules and everything for the Pokemon TCG and all that. I know there was people claiming he was cheating or different. I get all that. I don't really want to speak on it because I don't know enough about it, to be honest with you. Best part of this, as far as you went golfing, how did you shoot? All right, I'll tell you how I shot, but I got to tell you a couple holes. So I ended up finishing with an 82. Hold on, though. I had an 8 on one hole, and then I did have a 6 on a par 3 on another hole. So I took a triple and a quadruple bogey on 2 holes. So you take those 2 holes away, man, I'd have been somewhere in like the mid to higher 70s probably. And so I had 2 pretty bad blow-up holes. But all in all, it was a pretty good round. It was a good round. I don't think people are manipulating Twilight Masquerade, but people are manipulating the Greninja, and EV of the box is moving up along with it. Manipulating the Greninja. All right, here's the thing. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at it. And I'll kind of give you the reason why I don't know if I agree. Not here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say there's never been buyouts on cards and that no one can manipulate the single card market. It's happened. All right, it happens. I understand that. The reason the Greninja looks different, all right? The reason the Greninja looks different is it's had, here you go. It's had multiple, like, different levels that it's set, right? It had a run up right after release, and it set like a little level. It had a downturn. It ran up again, kind of set a level, kind of stagnated here. Now it's had another run up. It didn't go straight up, and it hasn't come straight down. You still have, tons of them selling every single day. I know there's a lot of money in this hobby, but you'd have to pour a lot of money in to manipulate this. I mean, you can see all the sales, right? Like what is there, at least 5 to maybe 8 sales a day, something like that. I mean, even if there's 5 sales a day, that's $1,500 a day just on TCG Player. I mean, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars to buy out all of these copies and continuing to keep the price there. Every time a copy comes out, continuing to buy it, continuing to keep the price up. Things like we saw with, the Gasly run up, or things like we've seen like buyouts that have manipulated things before. I'm just not so sure the Greninja's one of those. I think it's the first God tier rarity card we've seen in Scarlet Violet era. It's got pull rates up there with the alt arts. It's like 1 out of 900 and something packs. So I think there's a little more going on there than just manipulation. That's my opinion, though. That's my opinion. I don't even own a Greninja, so I can't be manipulating it for personal gain. I'm just giving you my take. Some people are just making outrage bait because it gets clicks. I couldn't care less if my channel doesn't grow as long as I keep it. Yeah, I get it for sure. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm definitely guilty of that. I make a certain amount of clickbait in my titles, my videos. The way I view it, it's how I've always viewed it, is if you can't get the butts in the seats, it doesn't really matter what you're saying in the video because no one's going to click on it and watch it. I know Dama has said in his videos I've watched that there's creators out there that are able to be successful doing so without it. And he's right. I know Rudy Alpha Investments, he just a lot of times will just have a still image in the video and he won't even make a thumbnail and he does great. And there's other creators that do great as well. But I think here's the thing though. Could they be doing better with thumbnails? Like I think the big YouTubers and the research that's out there shows that thumbnails and titles do help your video and your channel's performance. So I do it, right? I try to make sure I don't, like, in my opinion, clickbait, meaning anything I make in the title or the thumbnail, I make sure to actually talk about and actually make that part of the video or the main focus of the video in the actual content. I don't just like put something out there and not talk about it or barely talk about it for a second. So, but hey, you could definitely criticize me for that. I'm open to criticism. I definitely play into the titles and the thumbnails clickbait, 100%. Genuine question. All right. Was Dama saying that he loses money overall on his lucky bags? I don't know, man. You'd have to ask him. I know he was talking about it. I didn't really dig too deep on that. Maybe he loses money on some of the grading plays is what it sounded like. That he like gives his customers like the option for, where if they get a 10, he would have made more money grading himself or something like that. I'm not sure though. You'd have to ask him. Hey, what's up, dude? Appreciate you being here, Colin. Hopefully everything dies down, dude. I know you're just trying to make your content and do your thing, dude. Alex. Going live on Monday makes my boring day better. I love it, dude. Love it. I'm so tired of just bad news product announcements. SV ain't for me. Not exciting. Bad news? Gengar, dude, come on, man. There is no way. All right. So first of all, I'm going to say there's almost nobody out there that would have ever guessed Twilight Masquerade was going to do this well. At the same point, I don't think there's anybody out there right now that has saw the Team Rocket set or the new Gym Trainer set release the announcement and think that's bad or that's not going to be good. Come on, dude. I hope that's not what you're saying. Like, I think everyone's like pumped about that news. I don't think there's a person in this hobby not pumped right now. How do you feel after your last live? What are you talking about? I'm feeling good. I'm always feeling good. Still salty about the pack battle? Yeah, man. If you take the gamble, you got to be okay with the consequences. Alex is a trumper. He likes money. Oh, man, a trumper. Isn't that great? We have to sign like titles to everybody. The trumper. Alex doesn't agree with the government being in control of your products and services. That's what side Alex is on. What do we got? How about a regular guy's real opinion? Absolutely. Dude, everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. Also, I mean, everyone already knows this. Some of the biggest people in this hobby don't have channels, don't make content. Maybe they have an Instagram where they post a picture here and there, but I mean, just because I have a channel doesn't mean I know more than someone else, or that I'm bigger or sell more, or, you know, better, or a larger investor. I mean, guys, most everyone that's got a lot of money in this business make me look like a small fry. I've said a million times, I'm no whale, right? I do how I do. I feel like the best I can with what I have and the goals that I have. And I keep it at that. Like, comparisons are the thief of happiness. Everyone knows that. Like, you can't compare yourself to others. You know, there's people that have, you know, made better moves, been in longer, taken more risks. That's the other thing. People don't talk about that. People who have taken large risks in this hobby that have paid off are, you know, kind of celebrated, and they should be, right? That's what entrepreneurs are all about. But people don't think about the people that took the risks and failed, and now they're caught, and they're maybe in debt. Maybe they lost they had to sell off everything. And I've never wanted to be one of those cases. So I've taken a much more conservative approach. And because of that, I haven't got ahead as fast as a lot of other people have. And that's fine, right? 100% fine. You just have to know, you know, what level of risk you want to take, and, you know, be okay with the outcome either way. Did you ever have a problem ripping your sealed products? Thomas, what are you talking about? Have a problem with what? Thoughts on new cards? Dude, pumped. I mean, everything looks great. Team Rocket, good. Gym leader cards coming back, good. Like, the one thing we didn't see, we still haven't seen megas, which that we might have all got amped up, made plays, which, hey, here's the thing. They don't even have to create megas at this point for anyone that made the play back when I was making those videos to make money, right? Anyone that made the mega play, basing that decision on megas possibly coming later this year or next year, all the mega cards, pretty much all of them are all up. You could just sell right now, take your profits if you really wanted to. If you don't believe they're going to continue to go up or megas are going to come, I mean, you're already up. So it's like, it's one of those things like, hey, if you buy the news, you can always sell into, you know, the hype. You don't need to, you know, always buy into the actual fact of it happening, right? It's kind of like with stocks. Like, you know, you'll see the news pump up a stock on earnings, then the earnings actually come out. They're just as good as the news predicted, and the stock drops. It's just kind of how it works. People will buy the news, they'll sell the actual, they'll sell what actually happened. So it's same thing could happen in Pokemon. Like, you know, it always makes sense to take gains when you can. Nomics and Opossum would have so much to discuss comparing different gens. Where we are now, would love it. I mean, guys, we were on a video together. We went at each other for a couple times on that OKJ Love stream. Honestly, I would have no problem having Opossum on the stream. Obviously, we have very different takes in the hobby. We have very different ideals and things like that. Very different content. I don't even know if Opossum would want to come on the channel. Like, I don't even think this is his cup of tea. Like, he didn't even seem like he was that interested in being in the debate on OKJ Loves. I think he was just there for support for Julian. I don't think he really even cares that much about investing or anything. But hey, I mean, I'd love to have him on if he wants to. All discourse is good discourse. So far, Greninja is the Moonbryon. Okay. That's where I kind of draw the line, man. I don't know if I'm on that train, on the whole, like, this is the new Moonbryon train. I don't really get on that. I mean, here's what it feels like to me. It feels like maybe the next Blaziken, right? Maybe like the next Blaziken, or on like the level of like the Tyranitar from Battle Styles. Like, I think it'll be up there. I think it'll probably be one of the better hits in this era. But I think Moonbryon is still to come, if there even is another one like that. I don't know. I just don't think this card's going to be that. I really don't. I feel like since TCG Player update, where they show the mean price of light played as a default, some sellers might not realize that and list lower than the actual price, which tanks the price. Yeah, I mean, I got fooled by it, right? I mean, I came out and I said, maybe I didn't handle it the right way, but yeah, I was 100% wrong. Made a very honest mistake. I thought I had the graphs right. And yeah, TCG, I mean, you know, especially when you're like someone like me, I've been using TCG Player for years and years. And then all of a sudden there's a new change. Like, I completely missed it, you know? And Yeah, I think a lot of people are making that mistake right now. And also, I don't like how they changed up, the sales. Like you can't see the sales. Like you have to like click on it because all it shows you is like low price, high price, average price, all that stuff. Like it doesn't show you just like all the recent sales anymore unless you actually click on view more data. I don't know why they're doing that. I don't know if they're actively trying to make it more like, I don't know. It's a strange change for TCG Player for sure. I mean, I think they should have made separate listings for Japanese and English cards. They should have made that update far before worrying about this whole thing, right? This update was not needed as much as separating Japanese from English listings, because that's a huge deal, right? Separating that, those need to be separated because it just throws off the listing. You got to scroll through all the Japanese to get to the English. And they also, TCG Player also has an issue. They need to add shipping into the full price, because what happens is people, they think they take recent sales and they'll see a recent sale like $20 under like the other sales, and they're like, well, this one sold cheap. It's like, well, yeah, that person had $20 shipping and they listed their product $20 under market. And so if they would make a couple updates, I think they need more updates than this. This was a weird update to make, but hey, at least they're trying. At least TCG Player's trying. The big question, guys, when are you going live with Don? At this point, your fans may throw a mutiny. Hey, Don's always welcome on. He knows that. Don's been on the channel before. I had like a call-in show before. Don did jump on the channel before. So I've had Don on. But yeah, Don, we can get a Don on. I'm gonna start having a lot of people on that you guys may not know. And I'll have content creators too, but I just want to have more streams. People just kind of hang out and bullshit. Like just talk whatever. The hobby, the collecting, investing, business, this card, that card, the future, just like not even Pokemon related. I just want to have more hangout streams, right? I mean, it's funny, like when you look at Twitch and Kick and all these platforms, right? A lot of the people that got big, whether they were gaming or gambling, whatever they were doing, a lot of their streams really just became hanging out, kicking it, whether it be with like famous people, rappers, actors, and they're just kicking it, hanging out, talking to the chat, just having a good time, doing whatever. I think that is what I'm going to try to put forth more into my channel, is just more just like hang out, like talk, hang out, talk, have a live stream, have people on and just bullshit and just like have a good time, make this space more fun again and less like, always have to be like facts and data and interviews and debates and things like that. So, yeah, we are going to do more of that. So sure, we'll see Don come up here in the future. I hope you're up for it, Don. He's likely watching now and chiming in just to wait and make a video about it for views. Everyone manipulates their path to success. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about there? We got to get a Nostalgianomics golf outing. Could you imagine having like a golf tournament, setting up a Nostalgianomics golf tournament, having everybody come in? We got some pretty nice courses here in Missouri. We got some pretty good places to play. Risen Sparrow in the chat, alive and well. All right, what's this? Nostalgianomics is about to bring me on one of these weeks, tell you what an average guy does. Dubs Edition wants to jump on. All right. Anyone's welcome, man. Don is acting like he can just read people's minds and know the motives behind people's opinions on the Pokemon market. He is saying opinions, but started stating them as truths. Oh, man. Are you still picking up SV cards to grade? Absolutely. What else would I be grading right now? A lot of the alt arts they're starting to kind of regulate now. They were in a really weird spot where it didn't even make sense to grade them. I literally had alt arts sitting at my local card shop that were gradable. They were PSA 10 quality. And I'm just like, what's the point of this? Like to make $15, $20 after PSA grading fees. It's in a weird spot, like the alt arts, the trainer galleries, where there isn't a ton of margin to be made. Scarlet Violet's got great margins. Like they're selling. I mean, literally every day. Friday, I think I had like, now don't quote me on this because I don't know 100% numbers, but I've had like 7 to 10 sales on eBay every single day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's all slabs. Everyone's just buying slabs, and a lot of them are Scarlet Violet slabs, some Sword and Shield too. But yeah, I mean, Scarlet Violet slabs. I just sold the Ninetales for $170. The Obsidian Flames Ninetales in a 10. I sold that Heracross for like $225. So yeah, Scarlet Violet IRs, they're pumping. They're good. If you can grade them 10s, they're great. Even the SIRs, like they're not crazy margins anymore, but it's pretty, you can still double your money. I mean, if you can buy an SIR for 30, 40, 50 bucks and it's going for 100 plus, even after grading fees, you're making 80, 90, 100%. And so, yeah, man, I mean, there's a lot of grading plays in SV. Still great to grade right now. They're moving. People buy them. Sun and Moon is on the rise right now. It's like just like XY. Both are doing extremely well. I recently graded a lot of Sun and Moon cards. They're not moving as fast, but when they move, people are paying top dollar. Actually, so UFC, yeah, I had a bet on the fights and I lost it. I lost it to one of the guys in the chats. We had a bet going and I had Izzy and yeah, I lost that one. I lost 12 Silver Tempest packs, everybody. 12 Silver Tempest packs. And then yeah, man, so then I golf Sunday. So that's kind of what I was doing this weekend. How do you speculate on timing for price growth? For example, Eli is guessing Evolving Skies is hitting 1K next year. I mean, guys, yeah, we just give like opinions on things. Like, how do I estimate timing for price growth? I try to look at the amount of supply on what it's been going down month after month, like for, amount of months at a time. Obviously, you can look back at other like cards or like sets in other eras and kind of see the time frames and what it took them and kind of the patterns it took, like the ups and downs, the times of stagnation, and kind of get an idea on time frames that way. You can kind of you can predict like news cycles almost, and like predict like when people move in. Because here's the thing: when all the alt arts are dropping and they're down 20-30%, and you see them start to stagnate, you can kind of predict that people are probably going to feel more comfortable buying into them if the alt arts start to rise and the boxes are actually selling at a higher rate than they're being listed. So you're seeing less and less on the market. You can kind of predict that, oh, it looks like there's going to be movement in the market here coming up. Now, you could be wrong. Ton more could hit the market. The supply could flush the market, and you could be wrong. But so I try to look at just the overall market movements, past market movements, other like items, how they've done, and kind of get a good idea. But Eli guessing Evolving Skies 1K in the next year, I don't know. Maybe basing it on how Team Up moves, things like that. Obviously, a lot of times people ask our opinions. We'll just give our opinion on things. Like, not a lot of the opinions all the time are always like well thought out. Like, I wouldn't make a video saying buy Evolving Skies right now, it's going to 1,000. But if someone straight up asks me, hey Alex, if you had to guess, what do you think Evolving Skies is going to be like? I'll give an answer type thing, if that makes sense. Full transparency, right? I have how much do I have? 12. I have 14 Evolving Skies boxes. Big position, right? I'm getting rich. So look, it stays at 700, goes to 1,000, goes to 500. It's not going to affect, obviously I'll enjoy it going up, but it's not going to like affect anything in my life, what it does. So I have no reason to tell you to buy or sell Evolving Skies. I have a small position, goes up, great. I expect it to, that's why I hold it, but not trying to pump it or anything. Alex persuaded me to sell my house, max out my credit cards, and it's not going the way he promised. Wife's leaving, kids calling her boyfriend's dad. F my life. You know what, man? Sometimes things go that way. But hey, it could always turn around. You just got to wait a little longer. Just wait a little longer. Give it time. Time heals all in this hobby, remember? Oh, man. Don going back and forth with guys in the chat. I like it. Alex, you make me look forward to Mondays. Risen Sparrow, love you, man. Appreciate it. Darth Balls became a channel member, dude. Appreciate you. Hey, I made a whole video about this. You can check the channel. No, I don't. I think it'll affect the heavy sealed pack market. I don't think the boxes or cases will really be affected that much at all. And I outlined it in spreadsheets and broke out all the math on why I feel that way. If you go search my channel's videos, it's not too far ago, maybe like 3, 4, 5 videos ago. And you can watch that video and I outline exactly how I feel about that, man. The Dragona set is it different set? Yeah, I think the Paradise Dragona, whatever it is, I believe that is the next set. When's the next call-in show? Maybe we'll do something like that coming up. The only issue I have with call-in shows is you have to somewhat know the people or vet them. People have had actually like issues. Like I'm not going to get into it. There's been issues with people like having inappropriate things happen. And so letting just like anyone on the channel, it could actually like hurt like my YouTube channel as a whole. I don't want to take those risks. So I'd have to at least vet the people in some way. Like, and it has nothing to do with like hating me or disagreeing with me. That's fine. I just kind of have to know who you are, like at least, and know like. Anyway, that's kind of why I have to be a little careful with letting anybody on. Bull markets when things are down, correct? Absolutely not. Exact opposite. Can you show us opening your cases so we know they're not G.I. Joe packs? Oh, man. Let's open a case right now. Let's do it. Let's open one. Hold on. We're opening one. Got a case right here. Got a case right here. We're going to open it live on stream, guys. Live on stream. Here it goes. Oh, we're ripping the case. We're ripping it. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Ooh, it looks to be like freshy fresh Twilight Masquerade boxes. I think we're good. I think we're good. We didn't get scammed. I had to open this anyway for my live streams, so it didn't matter. Yeah, man, it's so funny. Like, I have seen a YouTuber do that, and someone shared me the video, and I watched it, and I was just like shaking my head, like people opening their cases, you know, to make sure the boxes are inside. It's like, dude, when you have all of the data in the world showing you that as things age, there is a legitimate case premium put on products where literally the sealed case sells more for six loose boxes, and you open up all your product, like, man, I get being paranoid or whatever, but you know, I don't know, order from a trusted person, buy from distribution. If you know, like buy from a local card shop, like do something like that if you're that worried about it. But to just in an instant lose hundreds and hundreds of dollars because you want to open all the cases because of some worry. Man, that was hard to watch. I'm not going to say who it was, but it was hard to watch. But no, I just opened that case because I'm out of Twilight Masquerade. I'm down to like a box. And so I'm going to need more for next week anyway. And so, yeah, we're going through Twilight like it's crazy, man. I don't even know. I've never seen anything like it before. It's crazier than 151. Yeah. Terapeak's a great source. If you guys don't know what that is, if you go to your eBay backend and go to selling and then go to research, one of the tabs, you can actually check it what like the best offers were taken on the things that say best offer, and you can see what things actually sold for. So it gives you a better idea of the market price. We got Dylan Howe, another new member. What's up, dude? Have you seen Paradise Dragona reveals for the Latias Latios? What do you think about the art? Art looks good. If you guys don't know, like I'm not against it. Like everyone always thinks I'm against it, right? But I don't do the look ahead thing. I don't care that set's coming out. I don't care Team Rocket. I don't care the gym. I don't care. Like I don't get into the whole like trying to find all the leaks and worrying about what I literally wait until the set is like, I wait till my boxes are on the way. Like, you know, Eli gets them from distribution. They get sent out to us. The set's like a week away from pre-release. That's when I look at the set and see what things are, because it doesn't matter. For me, it doesn't matter what's coming out or what's in the set. I'm still going to order 20, 30 cases of every single set. I'm going to open a certain amount on the channel. I'm going to put a certain amount away. If I see plays in the singles and they drop after release or pre-release to spots where I think they're good pickups, I'll pick them up. That's really it. That's all there is to it for me. So like for me, it's literally a waste of time to worry about all that news cycle drama. So yeah, people have shared them to me. I hearted them or fired them or whatever. I don't care. Yeah, looks good. We'll see when it gets here type thing. Like people need to stop being so worried about what's coming and being more worried about the here and now, like the plays, the sets that are right now. Guys, guess what? There are plays and money to be made right now in this hobby. You don't have to wait till 2025. The time is now. It's crazy. Everyone's so worried about the future, man. Look at this. Look, someone else. Worlds for the next 2 years have been announced. Like, it's just like, man, it's too much for me, guys. It's too much. I focus on the here and now. Alex is trying to filter out anyone with a white Duds for Harris sticker. Nah, man, we can have Harris people come on. That's exactly right there. That's what's wrong with our country right there, is people prejudging anyone based on how they vote, how they if they invest in this hobby, or if they like don't like investing, or if they're for this or for that. It's just like, dude, we gotta talk. We gotta talk. Just like me and Dama just did. We gotta talk it out. You scared me when you flicked that box cutter. They double scammed you. Well, it came straight from, what's funny is Eli actually sent these cases still in the Southern Hobby box. So it's like, it literally came from Southern Hobby. It was just reshipped from him to me. I'm going to go ahead and trust Southern Hobby. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and trust them by default though. I don't think that one of the largest distributors in the United States is scamming anyone with fake product, but you never know. You never know. When are you going to jump on the next bandwagon that Twilight is the best Scarlet Violet set so far? I told you all it's Ultra Prism 2.0. Honestly, that's not out of the question. That's actually a realistic comparison. It could be on an Ultra Prism level. Ultra Prism is like definitely on the upper end of Sun and Moon, but it's not like the top 1, 2, 3, 4 sets. So yeah, I could see that. I could see, Twilight going down as like top 4 or 5 sets in the era. For sure. That's not out of the question at all, by any means. Ooh, that's a good question. The average purchase you need to make Eli's membership make sense. So, Ken, I think it's more about, if you're going to be a part of that program, you're really going to want to be more of a business trying to make money. If you're just trying to buy things to invest, I think the monthly fee is not going to be worth it enough. I guess if you're buying, 20 plus cases, it might make sense. But a lot of times you can buy them on like Safari Zone or other places, not much more, around the same price, to where Eli's program is more for if you're wanting the entire distribution list of everything Pokemon lets out, or everything Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! And every other card game has, and you can find the inconsistencies in the market and you can find ways to make money. That's more what the program's for. If you're just looking to buy a booster box cases, probably, you'd have to buy a lot to make sense. Probably 20 plus at least. I don't know. Not using the new camera yet, Don. I'm going to use the new camera on the actual cards, not my face cam. I think the face cam's fine. People don't need to see my face more clearly. Dude, Silver Tempest it's holding on for dear life. It just seems like it's never selling out, doesn't it? I agree. If they would up it to 6 boxes, that tells me, here's the thing. Here's the weird thing, right? They threw Fusion Strike back up, and they sent Fusion Strike out in cases. They were opened, but they sent them out in cases. Like, are we to believe there's no like Silver Tempest open cases there? Like, even if they're not sealed, people will still buy in volumes of 6 in hopes of getting a sealed case, even though they don't. So yeah, if they would just up it to 6, even if they don't have any sealed cases, it makes sense because they would actually sell out a lot quicker. Yeah, guys, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So, hey, props to Dama. Thanks, Dama, for jumping on. I think we had a good combo, talk some things out. Yeah, I think one of his messages was good. It's like nothing needs to be taken too seriously. Like, we all make content for different reasons on different things. Nothing needs to be taken as hate. Proper criticism is worthwhile and accepted, all that good stuff. So I did like that. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of give a good take on like, just, you know, as a kind of a voice for the investors type thing. I know I don't speak for all investors, but, you know, I've been doing it a long time. And I think other investors feel the same way, that there's a lot of different reasons we make content, and there's a lot of reasons we promote products. It can be on fundamental analysis. We think on why the set's strong, why the print runs low, it's starting to sell out, it looks like things are moving. It could be like technical analysis based on the charts, based on things like that. It could be based on past experience with other like sets and like eras, other time frames. But I don't think a lot of creators are putting out content with the sole purpose of trying to manipulate, trying to like pump their own positions, or trying to clickbait content. I think we're just giving our honest takes, and sometimes honest takes are wrong. Sometimes we make mistakes. We're human. But I know, like, my goal is, if I can be right 70, 80, 90% of the time, which I think I have been, I feel like I'm doing a better service to everyone watching me than I am a disservice. And I think people will, you know, over time make more on their investments, like hearing my content and understanding why I made those plays. And I try to make a lot of content with no plays at all, just literally trying to like teach the reasoning behind why I do things. And I think it's beneficial. And so I'm going to keep up doing what I'm doing. Doesn't always, you know, it's not always going to mesh with what everyone likes. And I'll be open to criticism, and that's fine. But what happened here today? We need more of it, guys. Anyone who's got problems with people, invite them on your channel, and invite them on your channel. Like, get on, hash it out, have debates, you know, find common ground, become friends, make this hobby what it should be. That's what it's all about, guys. What does it say? There are a lot of misnomers about Pokemon investing. Yeah, for sure. Right. Like, you know, obviously people who have unrealistic expectations and think they're going to get rich in a year. It's a long-term game. It's boring. If you are not into the long-term game or the boredom, go ahead and run a business, right? Like, flip stuff. You know, find those deals at the Costco's and the Sam's and just flip it and make profit right away. Find those cards to grade or those collections to buy out and flip them, make profits right away. And continue to do that. Guess what? You're going to make more money doing that, and you're going to be able to stay more active. But for the people that don't want to stay that active and don't want to be in and out, buying and selling, Pokemon investing, sealed product, booster boxes, I hate to say it's guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, but I would say it's proven enough at this point that you have a much higher probability of making money than losing money if you're buying in at $80, $90, $100 a box and you're holding 3, 4, 5+ years. And so, yeah, it's always going to be my stance. Hope everyone enjoyed the live stream. And then Cameron said it's not as liquid as people think. Dude, I guess speaking from experience, maybe you could say, well, Alex, you have a following or you have an established eBay store, but I already gave the examples of other consignment services, right? I've never had a problem selling an item, ever. Sealed item, never. You got to be realistic. Look at what they're selling for. Look at what the recent sales are. You can't ask above market. You can't say, well, my box is minty. That one that sold wasn't as minty. No. Have realistic price points and your stuff will sell. I promise you. Literally, you can go search any box you want. Go look at auctions. They sell. I mean, I'm sure XY, Sun and Moon, even tons of Sword and Shield, tons of Scarlet and Violet. They sell every single day, week, month. eBay, you know, Fanatics, wherever you want to look, and they sell. They auction. They end somewhere near full retail value, probably within 90%. And you know, if you don't want to do the work yourself, sell to a consignment service. It's not as big of a deal as I think people make it out. I think that's one of the fear tactics out there, is getting people scared of selling. I mean, there's so many consignment services out there. I'm sponsored by Arizona TCG. Obviously, Dan's got one. There's a lot of consignment services. They'll do all the work for you, and you're going to make as much or more than doing it yourself. So, and they get top dollar because they have established following, established store. Like, I just don't think selling is as big of a deal as people think, or make it out to be. So that's what I have to say about that. I was going to end things, but people are coming in with more questions. So let me see what people have. Alex, what was the last set that really surprised you in the aftermarket appreciation? Twilight. Dude, I didn't see Twilight coming. I didn't hate on it as much as all like the critics of it. You know, I was like, hey, I think we should wait and see what happens. I don't think it's, you know, the worst set ever or anything, but no way in hell I thought it was going to happen like it did here. Pal D, Valve, I called that, right? I knew that was a great set. It performed exactly like I thought it would. But I think Twilight, obviously, And then before that, let's see, a bad set that did very well. Forbidden Light. I think Forbidden Light has done extremely well for how bad that set is. It's like in the 400s now. I say Forbidden Light's an extremely bad set in my opinion. Yeah, those two come to mind. Like I mean, let's think. Yeah, I mean, I could think of some other bad sets, but like Forbidden Light's really surprising at how well it's doing. Celestial Storm's not a bad set, but it's very surprising at how it's doing better than like a lot, like some of the tag team sets where like it's not even close to as good of a set, but it's got Rayquaza on the front. It's got a Rayquaza card and people like it. So Celestial Storm is not a bad set, but it's doing way better than I thought. So it kind of goes along the same lines. So there's definitely things like that. Dylan's been a flipping, reselling, investing, etc. Pokemon cards for just under a year and have seen some small time success. Thanks for the tips. Hey, I appreciate that, dude. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear that. It's liquid at 80%. Well, sure, but I mean, hey guys, look. Catch 'em all collectibles right here. I reached out to Dan. I asked him, I said, hey man, how has Fanatics PWCC been doing compared to your eBay? And he said, honestly, it's about the same, if not 95%. Dan only charges you, okay? I'm not even sponsored by him, right? I'm giving him so much free advertising. And Dan, you owe me something sometime, dude. But it's like, I'm not even sponsored anything by Dan, but it's like, dude, every case basically is over $500. Anything over $500 you auction off with Dan on Fanatics, you get 93% of the total sale. If he's telling you, out of all of the experience Dan has, which is longer than me buying and selling in this hobby actively, he's telling you he gets about the same, if not 95% of what he gets on eBay, and he's only charging you 7% to sell your sealed cases, I think you can get more than 80%. I'm just saying. Just saying. And you don't have to do any of the work yourself. So I don't know. I think it's pretty liquid. Do you think Twilight Masquerade will dip in price? No, I don't. I really don't. I think the boxes will, if anything, go stagnant. I think they're going to keep rising, though. If we don't see reprints of Twilight Masquerade, I think it's going to keep rising because they're not making any more right now, and it gets less and less every single week. Sure, people are going to open the new sets, but they're also going to open Twilight the same way they still open Temporal and Paradox. And so without new supply and distributors already limiting it down to like a case, a lot of distributors are already sold out of Twilight. A lot of the bigger sellers that always keep the prices low on TCG Player and eBay, a lot of them are already sold out. I don't see it, man. I think Twilight's going to remain strong. My opinion. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Yeah, Cameron said, yeah, sealed product. What about my PSA 10 Hypno? That's why you don't invest in vintage. Yeah, man. I mean, dude, this is one of the issues about vintage is, you know, you can show gains on paper, but it's very hard to realize those gains. Whereas like I can show an Evolving Skies box and I can realize, you know, $670 to $700 on that box pretty quickly, right? And so it's like sealed products always been a lot easier than, especially modern, than going into vintage stuff. Like you can make much higher gains when vintage gets hot and when moves happen, but it's always going to be harder to sell those cards, dude. You know that. You know that. All right, guys, I think we're going to call it there. I don't see any more pressing questions coming in. Appreciate everyone showing up for this live stream. I hope I made a good case, at least, for like investing in the hobby and like us content creators. Guys, look, I'm not going to tell you everyone's got your best interest at heart. I'm not going to tell you no one's doing scammy, schemy stuff. But look, I've made mistakes in, charts, data, graphs, honest mistakes. I've got things wrong before. But when I put out videos, I'm literally putting out videos to let you guys know what I do, how I come to the conclusions I come to. I do make plays. I don't want to be one of those people that always just like reports the news and tells you things after the fact. Of course I make predictions. I make predictions all the time. And sometimes I'm going to be wrong. Sometimes I'm going to be right. But I will continue to make price predictions. I'll continue to make predictions on cards and sets. And I'll give you the reasoning behind it. and we'll see how things turn out. But I'm not going to stop doing that because I'm afraid of manipulating the market or if people take that and lose money off of it. People put their money to work and lose money. That is what it is. But I just don't think there's anything wrong with me giving my take. If other people give their takes out of, if other people give fear takes and they say all this is going to zero, it's risky to hold this stuff. We got scanning now. We got this, we got that. I don't think that's any different because I could say, well, you cause people to miss out on money because you scared them out of their products and they could have made more. So it's like, it's kind of catch-22. You make negative content, you scare people out of making more money. You make positive content and you're wrong. So you make people lose money and they bought into something and went down. But then when it goes up, you're the hero. When you make negative content and things go down, you're the hero. And so it's really just a game of trying to get more rights than wrongs, no matter which side you're on, the Bulls or the Bears. Everyone can make money and be good at different times. So that's all I got today, guys. Yes, this stream will be uploaded. You can rewatch the whole thing, and we'll do more of these in the future. Everyone have a good Monday. See you guys back here in the next one soon. We're out.